President Tom Bevan. Tom, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much. What are your thoughts on where this is going?
Well, there were two things about Joe Biden's speech yesterday. One was the rhetoric, which was absolutely over the top, comparing the bills that are being pushed by Republicans around the country as racist, the equivalent of the civil rights movement. He compared them to the bombing of the Birmingham church and the Bloody Sunday, and suggested, as you just played, that anyone who opposes his political views, including members of his own party, by the way, are the equivalent of racists like George Wallace or Bull Connor or Jefferson Davis. So it was really a divisive speech in that regard. And then there's the question of what was the strategy behind this? What did he aim to accomplish by this? Because he knows, as we all know, he does not have the votes in the Senate. So he is driving around in a cul-de-sac, on a dead-end street with nowhere to go. And obviously the strategy in the short term is to rile up his base, is to get his base excited, because we're now inside an election year. But the question is, will what he said yesterday, is that going to move anybody? Number one. And number two, is it going to motivate anyone outside of his base? And could it, in fact, inflict some sort of backlash from moderates and independents who didn't like the way that he framed this debate over voting, what Democrats call voting rights, but what Republicans call election integrity?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Dagen McDowell, jump in here. His ratings are in the basement. Maybe he thinks if he creates all of this theater, that he'll get a better response from voters, because he continues to plummet to new lows in the polls.
The written part of the speech was horrible. And then when he's riffing and just making things up, and Tom can weigh in on this, but to bring up, say, you're either Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or George Wallace. George Wallace is a Democrat. That Joe Biden once bragged about George Wallace, how George Wallace liked him so much. And then he repeats this battle, see, the battle for the soul of a nation, or fighting for the soul of a nation. This is a line that he started using in at least 2019. So to your point, what's the goal here? This doesn't resonate with moderates, with independents, the very people who have turned away from him. But then he also he talked about the time of being arrested during a civil rights march. Just like he talked about that he was arrested in South Africa once trying to see Nelson Mandela. He, defended the Black Panthers in court and participated in a sit-in. These are all just fables that he spouts. And where was Stacey Abrams and the Black civil rights leaders? They didn't even show up because they knew it'd be a disaster potentially.
What do you think about that? What's going on with Stacey Abrams? Are they fighting? What do you think, Tom?
Well, she had a scheduling conflict, Maria, of course, which is what people say when they don't want to be present at an event. I mean, the president and the vice president come to the biggest city in your state. You're running for governor, and you can't make time in your schedule to be there. That's clearly a signal that she doesn't believe that they're going to be helpful in her cause of trying to win the governorship. And you saw some other voting rights groups, as Dagen pointed out, who said, listen, we don't want you to come down here. We don't want another speech. We want action. And so we're going to take a pass on being, what they call a prop for you in this set piece. But the problem is there is no action that can be taken because they don't have the votes in the Senate. Even if they did have the votes, as you pointed out earlier, Maria, this thing would be challenged in courts almost immediately. The constitutionality of it, which leaves it up to the states to regulate their own elections. And so this is a dead end for Democrats, and it's only going to, after all this fighting, it's only going to end in more disappointment. And this is why I think the Biden administration really needs to have some sort of reset or reboot, because right now, as I said, they're driving around in a cul-de-sac on a dead-end street.
Yeah, that's probably why he gave us all those theatrics, Tom, because he was playing for the cameras of Stacey Abrams' office. Real quick before you go, you saw the op-ed in the Journal this morning that maybe we'll see a return of Hillary trying to run, given that both Kamala as well as Joe's ratings, their polls are in the basement. Your thoughts on whether or not she makes a 2024 election comeback?
Well, listen, I've been doing this long enough to know that you never say never in politics, but it seems, even as Doug Schoen and Andrew Stein, who wrote that piece, admit, it would be an unlikely scenario. But I think it does point out, though, just how difficult the position the Democrats are in with Biden and Kamala Harris and the folks who want to run for president in 2024. There are really, at this point, no good options or none that are available. And so they're looking around, and Hillary actually looks pretty good in that regard, even though I think most Democrats would say she represents the past of the party, not the future.
Yeah, well, maybe she'll come up with another wild, fabricated story about collusion with somebody. Tom, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Tom Bevan joining us. Real Clear Politics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.